you can get to zero this way. Of course, if you want to read about it, there's a video which talks about why it was scrapped with all sorts of conspiracy theories, which I think are far-fetched, but I think it was the expense. So really, if we want cars which are getting down to 80 grams below, this really just shows that your options are really something like the Audi or the Ford Concept, and everything else is left in their wake. And even so what's the problem with putting aluminium into cars? Well, there's lots of assumed problems which you'll read in lots of literature. Thank you, Rip. I understand I'm running out of time. But the big one is the price of aluminium. So you can look to see how we take primary metals and make them into lower cost metals. You can look at the words of Glenn Seabrook, who says we should consider metals, the secondary source, as more important than the primary source, which is a great theory. You can look at how much energy you use to make primary metals and how much you use to recycle secondary metals. And aluminium and steel, if you're making aluminium, it takes a lot more to make it. You recycle it, it's very similar to steel. But the big thing about aluminium, which is different to steel as I understand it, is that aluminium can be upcycled. It can come back as the same or better product, whereas steel, it's downcycled almost exclusively. I don't think there's any recycling of steel, or very little recycling of steel sheet back into sheet that's used in cars again. So basically steel is stuck on the 2 tons per tonne of CO2, whereas aluminium you can get much lower than that, and that's the real defining difference. And you can source your primary aluminium, if you wish to, from places where it's made lovingly with hydroelectricity, and you can get even your primary aluminium at a low carbon level if you wish to. The industry doesn't like you telling you this because it likes you to believe that all aluminium is the same, but not all aluminium is born equal. So really this is the way of putting aluminium into cars, because we have to build up an estate of aluminium in cars. They're not there at the moment. So at the moment we have to make aluminium cost effective, and the way to do that is to use old scrap in this cycle for making cars until there are enough cars on the road that the whole thing operates naturally. And my contention is that the way to do this is to put the cans that we're throwing into landfill into cars, not into landfill. And the way to do it is to recycle them through Latchford. And because Latchford produces the greenest aluminium ingot, certainly in Europe, very, very low carbon, but of course we're throwing away more cans than we're actually sending to be recycled. Because a recycled can is a wonderful material. It's better than primary aluminium because it's primary aluminium that's already been alloyed. And fortunately, the alloys we want for the cars are very similar to the alloys we get from the recycled can. And the beauty of the recycled can is its price compared to the price of aluminium on the LME. And as I looked at yesterday, it was 52% of the price. So it's fantastic business for a recycling company like Novelis. So if we just took the cans that are presently thrown away and turned them into cars, we would be able to make 140,000 A2s, Ford Concept cars, all with a high energy efficiency and low carbon emission as driven. That would go quite an interesting way towards the present targets. So this is not really new technology, it's not really new information, it's just assembling it in a slightly different way for you. It is entirely possible, I believe, to make cars which exceed the 2020 target today. You can make aluminium cost competitive with steel by using a high content of recycled aluminium, and I think there's nothing better around at the moment than the cans we're throwing away. And these vehicles are fantastic for moving on for hybrid and electric vehicles, and you could have a dramatic impact on fuel CO2 emissions from the UK vehicle fleet if you followed this route. And I'd like to acknowledge that I do get a lot of support from the TSB, a number of projects, but the two where this sort of thinking is going on, one which is upcycling light alloys by recycling scrap, and another is a recycled aluminium car project, which have really supported these thoughts. Anyway, thank you very much for your time.